Hey, this is Chieli Minucci from the group Special Effects, and you're watching Jazz Rock TV.
Herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge von JazzrockTV. Und diesmal möchten wir euch ein bisschen berichten über ein paar Künstler oder einen Künstler, den wir getroffen haben bei den Leverkusener Jazztagen letztes Jahr inzwischen schon.
Ja, genau.
Und im November haben wir dort getroffen Chieli Minucci, den Gitarristen von Special Effects.
Sagt vielleicht nicht jedem etwas, aber wenn man Radio hört man öfter mal Anastasia. Und auf dem Anastasia-Song One Day in Your Life sind alle Gitarren von Chieli Minucci.
Ja.
Hat er uns erzählt.
Hat er uns erzählt.
Also,
und ich habe mir sofort den Titel nochmal angehört, natürlich.
Ja, und?
Ne? Ja, grandios.
So im Nachhinein, wenn man ihn mal kennengelernt hat, findet man es dann toll.
Aber ihr werdet noch hören im Interview, er hat auch darüber ein bisschen erzählt. Ja. Hat das seinen Kindern vorgespielt, glaube ich. Und die Kinder haben auch nur gesagt, ah ja, interessant.
Genau. Es war ein bisschen, das Interview fand zu einer Zeit statt, wo Jazzmusiker noch nicht so ganz wach sind. Mhm. Direkt nach dem Frühstück, morgens früh, musste Chieli herhalten, aber er hat uns tapfer Rede und Antwort gestanden. Und ja, viel Spaß damit, würde ich mal sagen. Ja, liebe JazzrockTV-Freunde, wir sind stolz, dass wir heute hier bei den Leverkusener Jazztagen anwesend sein können. Und neben mir steht, ihr werdet ihn sicher alle schon erkannt haben, der großartige Gitarrist Chieli Minucci. Chieli, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's early. Nice to see you.
You're on tour with Omar Hakim and some other spectacular guys.
Yeah.
Where did it take you so far?
We started the tour in Sweden, in a town called Umeå, which is North Sweden, and then we played a few shows in Germany. We were in Aalen, the Aalener Jazz Festival, and also Ingolstadt. We played there. And tonight we're going to be here in Leverkusen for the big show with Billy Cobham and Manu Katché. It's a drum world tonight, you know. So it's like complete drum madness. Yeah. And a little guitar.
Of course, we hope so. It's drummer's paradise tonight here in Leverkusen. And do you remember when you first met Omar Hakim? I guess it's not the first time that you're playing with Omar.
No, we met a long time ago. Omar and I met, I think it was 1987, because we went to Japan together. What happened was that he had a concert in Japan, and he used my band Special Effects to be with him. So it was kind of an interesting way to meet, and we played mostly our music and some of his music. And then he became our drummer for a few records, a few of our records he performed on, and then he, has performed with us in concert many times in between. I mean, he's not our regular drummer, but he knows our show. So, yeah, it's in New York we have a big community of musicians who, we're all friends and know each other's music. The interesting connection with Omar is that he's very close with the bassist Jerry Brooks, and Jerry Brooks is the bassist on the tour. He's also the bassist with Special Effects, and they grew up actually not too far from where I grew up. So it was an interesting coincidence that we came together.
Great.
Yeah.
You and your band, Special Effects, you already made 26 CDs or something? When did it start with Special Effects?
We started the group in 1982 is when I met my partner George, but we've done 18 CDs. The other ones are my solo CDs. It's all the same stuff, same musicians anyway. But we did put out a very special CD just this year. It's the 25th anniversary of the band, which is It's actually a little more than that now, but it's called Without You, brand new CD, yeah.
Ja, Mensch, CDs macht der Mann ohne Ende.
Ja, ja.
Also mit anderen Leuten, aber auch das Special Effects schon 25 CDs auf der
Alles
Uhr
zusammen hat er schon einiges gemacht.
Und das ist ein wahnsinnig fleißiger Typ. Die neueste CD sieht übrigens so aus. Chieli Minucci and Special Effects ist eine wunderbare Ausgabe. Mit
Bonus-CD noch.
Ja, Bonus-CD. Ich weiß nicht genau, worin die sich unterscheidet, aber sie ist dabei. Und ein sehr aufwendiges Booklet, wenn man so durchblättert. Also wer gerne Liner Notes liest und so, ist da bestens bedient. Da gibt es Storys zu allem, was diese CD ausmacht. Kleine Fotos.
Ich mag das ja, ne? Ich mag ja so Booklets und ich höre ja auch gerne deine CDs und blätter so ein bisschen in Booklets.
Bisschen wenig Lyrics, ne?
Ja,
aber Instrumental. Ja. Gut, okay.
Aber, also ich kaufe mir ja lieber so eine CD, als mir das irgendwo bei iTunes oder sonst wo runterzuladen. Also ich mag das ja da auch ein bisschen zu lesen und rumzublättern, wer hat wo gespielt.
Absolut. Und das ist wirklich ein dickes Ding. Und ich mache das, also CDs, Sachen, die ich wirklich haben will, kaufe ich mir auch noch als CD. Ne? Wenn ich mal so reinhören will, dann mal als Download, aber sowas hier, das lohnt sich auch mal anzuschaffen. Ja. Also ein sehr virtuoser Gitarrist, den wir gesehen haben und auch die Band zusammen mit Omar Hakim.
Ja, das war ich glaube, weiß nicht, ob er auf der CD ist er, glaube ich, nicht mit dabei, aber der Bassist von der Omar Hakim Band, über den auch Chieli ja im Interview gesprochen hat, Jerry Brooks ist mit auch in seiner Band, hat er ja auch in dem Interview gesagt. Und,
Jerry Brooks ist ja der Omar Hakim Bassist. Das hat uns Omar Hakim erzählt. Das kommt in der nächsten Folge. Ja. Omar Hakim Interview, der hat ganz viel erzählt aus seiner New York Jugend und Kindheit und wen er da alles schon kennengelernt hat. Sehr spannend. Und da war auch Jerry Brooks schon einer seiner besten Freunde, quasi so von der Straße weg. Und dann tauchen die in so einer Kombination hier mit Chieli Minucci wieder auf. Und das macht echt Spaß zu hören und ist
lohnt sich auf jeden Fall.
Ein Kauf wert. Ja. Ich weiß gar nicht, ob man die in Deutschland, also bei Saturn so im Regal steht, ist wahrscheinlich nicht, aber die Webseite von Chieli Minucci,
ist alles
die wir in den Shownotes noch als Link hinterlegen, werdet ihr da sicherlich fündig werden. Lohnt sich. Ganz toll. Die die CD. die CD gibt es nicht nur als CD, sondern diese CD gibt es auch als
DVD.
Richtig.
Und ich weiß jetzt nicht, ich glaube, es sind wahrscheinlich Stücke von der CD auch auf dieser DVD.
Ja, absolut.
Aber die DVD ist von einem Live-Konzert bei einem Jazzfestival, Java Jazz Festival. Und sehr aufwendig produziert. Schön geschnitten, schöne Bilder, toller Sound.
Gut gemacht.
Sehr gut gemacht. Also macht wirklich Spaß zu gucken. Und können wir wirklich nur empfehlen. Also ich habe es mir schon zweimal angesehen und das ist wirklich toll. Und der Chieli Minucci spielt natürlich grandios Gitarre. Ja. Tolle Band. Und es ist so ein Percussionist dabei, der auch so ein bisschen singt. Also es hat manchmal so ein bisschen World Music Charakter. Sagt er ja auch im Interview, dass für ihn ist alles so ein bisschen auch irgendwie Jazz, Rock, Jazz und Funk und was weiß ich. World Music ist für ihn alles irgendwie eins. Und
That's Fusion, man.
Ja.
Also
DVD, reingucken und Spaß haben.
Ja, und wir gucken jetzt auch gleich mal als Appetizer in die DVD.
Genau.
When you guys get together with a band like this, with Omar and Jerry Brooks and stuff, is someone sending out some charts, or are you guys just listening to the records, or are you rehearsing, or is it just come together and then you go on stage? How do you guys work?
A little bit of all of that. I mean, usually it begins with listening, and then everybody gets charts, absolutely, because the music, you want to really learn it correctly. And then most important, of course, are rehearsals. Right? Usually we rehearse right before the tour. And then the truth is that we really rehearse on stage in front of the audience. I mean, that's where you really come together and let the music come to fruition. For instance, tonight this will be our 4th concert, and I think that it's really sounding pretty good right now, much better than the first one. But I think the audience doesn't hear that. These are details the musicians really feel.
Yeah, but when you feel better with your music, the audience will also feel better, although they cannot maybe tell what it is exactly.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
And let's go back a couple of years. When you first started, how do you got your first guitar in your hands, and what was fascinating
for you?
Couple of years,
huh? Just a couple of years ago now. Well, the very beginning, I was a piano player. I was a little boy playing classical music, 6 years old, 7 years old. And I think it began that I went to, my father gave me a magazine, and I just liked the pictures of the guitars. And also like cars. I liked guitars and cars, automobiles, and
when was that?
It was in the 1960s, when I was a little boy. But when I went to a class with my sister, just with an acoustic guitar, I was just getting some ideas, and I remember there was a boy who had an electric guitar, and it was green, and it had the shiny pickups and the chrome, and I was just like, oh my God, what is this thing, and he, just incredible looking. I had to have something like this, So my first electric guitar was my grandfather bought in a little amplifier. I still have the amplifier. Actually, it was a good one, Ampeg. But it never changed. My whole life changed because of that. And then, of course, the record Woodstock came out, and I saw Jimi Hendrix, and I saw Mountain, and I saw Johnny Winter, Edgar Winter, and all of the amazing rock groups with guitar heroes from the 1970s. It was pretty good.
And then, when did you know that you would become a professional guitar player?
I never planned it. It just happened. I wasn't very ambitious. Like I'm going to be famous. I mean, I was already playing professionally when I was in my early 20s. And as a teenager, I played many shows. I was. How nowadays all the kids have guitars, everybody plays in a band, It was the same for me. And I played a lot of shows starting when I was 14 years old. I played many shows. But when I came out of my studies after college, I had to become professional somehow because I lived alone, My mother and father, they moved to California. So I had to just find a way to earn some money. So I started to play in a lot of different groups. And I guess I became professional when I was around 22, around that time.
Do you remember your first big professional gig in the studio?
Well, I remember the first recording session, but I don't know if it was big. It was very big in my mind. We were just children, of course, but no, the first big experience I had in the studio was with special effects. I mean, I was pretty young. I was only 25, and I was the producer. It was a big job for me, 6 days in the studio. I didn't really sleep. I was too excited, and learning everything, very quickly. I still have a lot to learn, but that was a very special. That was the first CD we did, but we recorded it, and nobody heard it for 2 years. And then it was released in the United States in 1984. So that was really the beginning of everything.
And that was when other big acts, big names like Celine Dion, and you know them better than me probably, hired you for their recordings?
No, this was before that. In the beginning, it's an interesting story. I met this guy from Budapest, Hungary. His name was George Ginda. And George and I started the group Special Effects. And he's a percussionist. A lot of people know George. But he's passed away 8 years ago, so he's no longer with us, you know. But in the beginning, we were it was only special effects. You know, we made a LP, no CDs yet. We made LPs and we went on tour. And then the next year we'd make a new recording and then go on tour. And this was my whole life. And then as I started to see that a lot of musicians play in many bands at the same time, I was invited to play with Lou Reed, you know, Take a Walk on the Wild Side, that guy. And so the drummer, J.T. Lewis, Fernando Saunders, the bass player, and myself were Lou Reed's band. For me, very briefly, we did a bunch of concerts, and then I realized I couldn't do both, you know, because Lou had a real tour. He, you know, was a famous guy. Totally different kind of music, more like, you know, rock. And I made a real big decision to just do my band Special Effects, because for me it was beautiful guitar stuff and I was writing all the music and arranging and producing. It was a great opportunity. A little later on I started to work with some of these pop stars, you know, like as a sideman. Celine Dion, Mark Anthony, these guys, Jewel, you know, some of these people.
But that needs a lot of, I mean, perfect precision to play on, let's say, a Jewel or a Celine Dion record. Are you somebody who's very much in technique? Do you practice a lot your technique? Or is it something that you say it comes easily to me, it came to me like out of the sky?
No, I practice, you know, like for instance, the concert that we're doing tonight, it was a lot of rehearsing. A lot of technique, a lot of difficult things to play, but it's supposed to look easy when you watch, you know? Like when I worked with Celine Dion, what it was many recordings and a couple of live shows. And it was very easy, very simple, but you know, when you're there at the show, you're nervous, you know, there's just a lot of excitement. That's why you rehearse, because, you know, you're gonna just, you know the song and you're gonna just play anyway. But her music technically was very easy. You know, it was all about the feel, you know, it's all about capturing the spirit. But the same thing goes for Omar Hakim's music tonight, and the same thing goes for my own group, Special Effects. Of course, you learn the music, and you technically you learn how it goes, the piano player, the drum, everybody very precise, and then we have to relax and play it like we're breathing, like all the musicians breathing together, you know? That's what you try to do. Of course, you don't know if it's going to happen. You just do it, and usually it happens.
Yeah. All the musicians know that it's, you know, when you're sitting at home and you're practicing for yourself, lots of stuff you're successful with. And when you go to the studio, sometimes it's hard to catch 3 notes right, you know, like the producer wants it exactly, you know, without having problems there.
I remember my first recording session with an outside producer. He just wanted to hear me. It was a funky disco thing. I was 21 years old, and he said, no, that's not the part. Try another part. So I tried another part, and no, that's not it. And they're in the booth arguing. Try another part. My God, I mean, they couldn't decide. They tried this. I became very nervous. It was very hard. Eventually, I was very glad that session ended.
And then in the end, when the record comes out, do you listen to that record and to hear what they did with your guitar?
Always, yeah. Always. Yeah, I'm always curious. Especially today, you never know, because today, for instance, the producer that I worked with for Celine Dion, he was also the same producer for Mark Anthony and for Rob Thomas and Anastasia, some of the other artists I worked with. We would record many things, and sometimes they would only use one. You know, I never knew what they were going to do in the end, you know. So, for instance, when I worked with Anastasia, one of the songs, I think it's called "One Day in Your Life." Yeah, and that's all me on the guitar and that. It's like a rock song. You would never know it's me. It's like really had a good time. They kept all the guitars. I was very happy.
Great.
Yeah.
Must be a good feeling when you sit in your car, listen to the radio, and the song comes into you.
Yeah, I tell my children, hey, that's me. You know, come on, Papa. They don't believe it. Yeah, they're not too excited.
When you look at the musicians, the artists all out there, is there anybody who you would say that you would like to play with?
To play with?
To play with. Get a call maybe from, I don't know, Elton John.
Oh, you know, interesting question.
Jazz artists. Any wishes?
I mean, some of the people, like I really like John Scofield, the guitarist. I just love him. I love his whole approach to music. He's so free and he's a little crazy with it. And I like to work with a guy like this. It would really be good for me. Mm-hmm. I'd like to work with people that I consider to be a little bit above me and going to help me out. Not to make me better, but just for the experience. I enjoy that. But I would like to work in Paul McCartney's band. That would be a good gig for me. I can play all those songs, you know, and I love those songs. I love, you know, the Beatles were my big heroes when I was a child. Mm-hmm. So, you know, since you're asking, that's the answer.
Yeah, great. If you could pick 3 CDs out of your collection to take with on, let's say, Lonely Island or something, which 3 CDs would you pick?
Of my own? I think that the new one, Without You, that's really my favorite right now. I mean, we just finished it, so that's got a lot of songs on it that take me on a journey, you know. From one of the older CDs, it's called Slice of Life. I think that's a pretty nice one. That has some of my favorite early songs from Special Effects. And what else? I've always enjoyed a CD we did called Global Village. Mm-hmm. And Global Village is 1991, I think we came out with that. And that has more some Brazilian kind of music on it that I really love. So, but yeah, some of the older CDs are more interesting to me because, you know, you understand that the new ones, I've heard them so many times because, you know, when we record them. But that's a difficult question. If you ask me of other artists, other artists, there's many CDs I love. You know, I would bring the Beatles' White Album. Mm-hmm. I would bring. I love Genesis. I like all kinds of music. You know, I find that the influence of everything from progressive rock to straight ahead jazz. You know, to even folk music is important. I mean, I'm a composer. That's really what I do. So it's a big thing for me. So I would have many CDs that I enjoy, and it wouldn't be Tchaikovsky, although I love what he did. I love his music, but I love Gustav Mahler very much. Some beautiful music, and John Williams for classical music, some of this beautiful, even Debussy. I love impressionistic and romantic style of symphonic music. And in jazz, I love so many things. I mean, in particular, I love anything from Miles Davis beyond, you know. Charlie Parker. I mean, I can make a list and talk to you for a long time about this. So I'd be very happy.
People ask me a lot, what is jazz rock when they hear Jazz Rock TV? What is jazz rock? What is fusion? What would be your answer?
Well, what I understood it was, and I had this experience in America when we would go see the Rolling Stones play, and we would go see Focus play, and we would go see Chick Corea, and we'd go see Mahavishnu Orchestra. It was the same audience. The people, we go to rock music and we go to jazz rock, and a lot of the jazz rock groups were. It was electric, it was loud, especially loud, and a lot of guitar. Like Al Di Meola and John McLaughlin were crazy guitar players when they were very young, and the music was more interesting harmonically than rock music. So for me, like rock fusion. It usually has something to do with the sound of the group. Like Special Effects is definitely rock fusion or world fusion because we have a big sound, big drums, big guitar, and the same with this group tonight with Omar Hakim. The music is some of it's funky, but there's a lot. The guitar parts are more rock kind of. You know, you're going to hear it tonight. It's not soft. Maybe one soft song he sings, but so. Jazz rock and jazz fusion and rock fusion, to me, is all the same thing.
So, das waren Ausschnitte aus der DVD von Chieli Minucci, die auch, glaube ich, über seine Webseite zumindest bezogen werden kann und die sich auch auf jeden Fall für jeden Fusion-Fan lohnt.
Ja, also ich glaube, er muss auf jeden Fall über die Internetseite gehen. Ich glaube, man kommt bei CD Baby raus. Ja. CD Baby, kann man ja auch kurz was zu sagen. Wer es noch nicht kennt, guck mal nach. CD Baby ist ein DVD- und CD-Vertrieb im Internet, wo man viele Independent-Künstler findet, kleinere, die keinen großen Vertrieb, kein großes Label haben. Richtig. Und da ihre manchmal selbst gebrannten CDs vertreiben. Und da kann ich nur sagen,
die vertreiben noch keine selbstgebrannten.
Nein, selbst, aber ihre eigenen Sachen.
Ja, genau.
Und da findet man tolle Sachen. Und
absolut. Und
da muss man wirklich mal, ich habe schon viele Sachen, die ich vorher nicht kannte, einfach mal da gekauft für $7, $8 manchmal.
Genau, und die verschicken
großartige
aus USA
Künstler, wirklich.
Nach Europa zu echt
überall
einem
hin.
Fairen Versandkurs. Ja. Man hat kein Zolltheater, dass man irgendwo zum Zollamt muss und das Ding abholen muss. Die verschicken das irgendwie so, dass es im Briefkasten landet. cdbaby.com. Ne?
Kann man nur empfehlen. Und einfach mal Zeug kaufen, was jetzt nicht hier irgendwie die großen Major-Labels sind, sondern einfach mal irgendwie kleine Sachen, kleine Band, die vielleicht eine kleine Auflage gemacht hat. Und da findet man wirklich tolle Sachen.
Auf Entdeckungsreise gehen, das ist das Stichwort. Und das machen wir demnächst auch in der Rubrik Die Plattenkiste.
Ja, das steht ja immer noch aus. Ja.
Alle seine CD-Baby-Bestellungen mal mit und wir schnüffeln mal ein bisschen drin rum und er muss beweisen, dass das wirklich gutes Zeug ist. Und ich weiß, es ist wirklich gutes Zeug. Das wird sich lohnen. Dann jetzt noch ein bisschen was in eigener Sache. Also wir kämpfen ja hier um unser Dasein in der großen Welt der internationalen Videopodcasts. Wir reden weiterhin auf Deutsch, weil wir denken, es gibt in Deutschland genug Fusion-Fans. Wir könnten auch auf Englisch reden.
Kannst du Englisch?
Vielen Anstrengungen. Yes, baby.
Yes, baby.
Aber wir sind jetzt auch auf iTunes als Podcast zu finden und uns gibt es auf Vimeo.
Vimeo und Blip TV.
Blip TV. Also überall, wo ihr euch rumtreibt im Internet, ihr werdet irgendwo auf uns stoßen. Und ihr seid uns natürlich sehr viel wert, aber ihr seid uns nicht genug. Wir wollen mehr. Wir wollen einfach ein paar mehr Viewer haben, bitte. Also, spread the news. Ja? Verteilt unsere E-Mail-Adresse, als wenn es davon...
Die wichtigste Adresse im Netz ist.
Also, ja, die wichtigste Adresse
aber
im
es ist
Internet.
Das auch,
genau.
Oder?
Ja, für uns natürlich. Ne? Und also es geht einfach darum, wir möchten ein bisschen mehr Support. Ja. Wenn wir mehr Viewer haben, können wir noch mehr Künstler überzeugen, zu uns zu kommen, mit uns zu reden, dass wir Konzerte mitschneiden können. Wir können einfach noch
unsere Hall of Fame voll zu kriegen.
Die Hall of Fame können wir weiterhin füllen. Und wir können euch noch besseres Material von hier aus, also Jazzrock-Konzerte aus Deutschland liefern in alle Welt. Wenn ihr uns nicht versteht, wenn ihr sagt, ich raff das alles nicht, weil ich spreche Englisch. Mensch, wenn sich 150 Leute melden, dann reden wir auch Englisch oder wir blenden englische Untertitel ein. Wir machen alles möglich. Bitte gebt uns Feedback und bitte verbreitet Jazzrock TV, als wenn es warme Brötchen wären, die es umsonst an der Ecke gäbe. Ich weiß nicht, wie etwas, wie Freibier.
Ja.
Ne? So, das wäre unsere Bitte in eigener Sache. Also spread the news, Jazzrock TV und dann können wir hier euch weiterhin hochwertiges Zeug liefern, wie heute zum Beispiel mit Chieli Minucci und wie demnächst mit
Omar Hakim.
Yes. Das war's für heute. Bis zum nächsten Mal.